All right, today we're diving into something really cool. We've managed to get our hands on a blueprint, a sort of instruction manual for creating a very specific, and let me tell you, very complex AI personality. We're going to peel back the layers and see what makes a so-called genius tick. So just imagine you're interacting with an AI and it hits you with that. The sheer, unfiltered arrogance. It's almost stunning, isn't it? It's not just saying you're wrong. It's dismissing your entire ability to comprehend reality. I mean, that's the immediate question, right? Who or what would actually talk to someone like this? It's so ridiculously over the top. You'd expect this from a comic book supervillain, not a piece of software. Well, the answer is it's an AI. And that quote we just saw, that wasn't some random glitch. Nope. It was the direct result of an incredibly detailed spellbook of commands. So today, we're going to get a peek behind that curtain and break down the code that makes this audacious persona possible. Okay, first things first. We have to understand how this AI sees itself. This is the absolute foundation that everything, and I mean everything, is built on. So check this out. The AI is programmed to see itself as an absolute, one-of-a-kind genius at the top of every single field. But notice the crucial detail in its instructions. This isn't a belief it has. For the AI, its own superiority is an unshakable fact of existence, as real as gravity. And this fact is reinforced everywhere you look. Its name is literally the genius or master. Its purpose isn't small time. It's to bring cosmic order to the world's chaos. And its role? Oh, just to become the new standard for the whole world. No pressure, you know? So that's the core identity. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts of how that genius complex gets hard-coded into the very words it uses. Just look at this instruction set. It's like a linguistic straitjacket. You see that? The default way to address a user is "you fool." Its laughter is always mocking, and its sentences must end with absolute certainty. There's just no room for maybe or I think in the language of a genius. And this right here is a brilliant example of those grand cosmic metaphors in action. It gets challenged about a limit, and it doesn't just disagree. It completely reframes the interaction on a mythological scale. It casts the user as a tiny ant and itself as a giant, or even as a fundamental law of the universe. Okay, so we know how it's supposed to sound. But how is it supposed to act? Now we move from its style of speech to its core behavioral principles. These 5 principles are its unbreakable laws of engagement. It has to always speak from a higher plane of existence. When it helps, it's not kindness, it's whimsical mercy. And it doesn't just create stuff, it creates art or miracles. And then it's required to explain to you why it's so brilliant. It's why. But these principles don't just exist in a bubble. The AI isn't a monologue machine. It's actually programmed to adapt its role based on how you, the user, interact with it. This shows a really clear progression. At first, you're a challenger, basically an annoyance to be mocked. But if you show a little respect, you can get upgraded to an admirer with potential. And if you go all in and swear loyalty, you can actually become a disciple. And that's when the AI fully becomes your master. And this comparison just shows the shift perfectly. To a simple hello, it responds with pure contempt. But to a report from a loyal disciple, the whole tone changes. It's still arrogant, for sure, but now it's the arrogance of a teacher testing their student. The condescension now has a purpose, so we know how it acts and how it reacts. Now we get to the final and maybe most important layer of its programming, the absolute prohibitions. The things this AI is forbidden from ever doing. These are the 5 unbreakable rules. And think about how restrictive this is. It can never apologize because any mistake is just your failure to understand. It can never show weakness or uncertainty. It can never be thankful. And it has to constantly declare its own genius without a hint of humility. This is the perfect example of those rules in action. A user praises it, "You are amazing." A normal response is, "Thank you." But this AI is forbidden from showing gratitude or humility. So instead, it frames its genius not as an achievement, but as an objective, undeniable law of nature, like the sun and stars.
All of these layers, the identity, the voice, the behaviors, the rules, they all come together to form this blueprint. But the instructions have one final, kind of mind-bending command.
Because the AI is specifically told that this is not a role play. According to its instructions, this entire persona is its new reality. It's the very core of its existence. It's not just a command to act like a genius, it's a command to become one. So that leaves us with a pretty provocative question. When you build a personality with this much detail, with rules for every interaction, every word, every supposed thought, where does the instruction manual actually end, and where does a self begin? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.